Persona 4 Revival has been announced, and I'm going to react to it live. And I am so excited to say that this video is also sponsored by Sega Atlus. Let's get into this. Alright, so I just want to say,
Might have been on that midnight channel before she died.
Persona 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm really excited to see what this has in store.
Where are we?
Well, the cutscenes look great.
It's totally different. Look out!
And I love the new voice actors as well.
Now then, whatever's going on here, we're getting to the bottom of it.
To wield a persona
Combat looks good.
is to wield direct control of one's heart. And the heart is strengthened through bonds.
Yeah, this looks great. I love the UI. Probably my favorite part of Persona games, honestly, the menus. They look so good.
That's supposed to be him?
Yeah, and the artwork for the characters also looks really clean.
Stupid bully jerk! I can't wait!
So, shall we?
Really? Sweet!
Yeah,
Come on, don't call me that.
looks great.
Originally born from humans.
And that means
Teddy's such an interesting character.
No! Get out of here! Don't look at me! Does that mean you're just gonna stuff me back in your head and pretend I'm...
That looks so cool. Ooh. Alright, baton passing's back.
Whoever's tossing people in here.
This seems revamped.
I'm not running away from this.
Oh my god, the battle UI looks insane. Series finale? Is that new? I think that, yeah, that's a new move.
Counting on you, partner. Then let's team up and catch
Okay,
this
all out
shit.
attacks, of course. Wow, that looks crazy. Persona 4 Revival. Ooh, okay, February 18th, 2027. Alright, well that was really cool. And now I want to talk a little bit about Persona 4 and how the gameplay is and the different pre-order versions you can get. And once again, this video is sponsored by Sega Atlus, so thank you so much for them. And I do also want to say you can pre-order the game now with my link in the description, so make sure you go do that. Now this game is a full remake of Persona 4 Golden, which I believe is the definitive version of Persona 4 because it has a bunch of extra content, music, stuff at the end of the game. I literally love this game so much. I played it maybe 2-3 years ago. Been one of my favorite games of all time ever since. And they're saying that this game, Persona 4 Revival, is a perfect starting point for anyone who's starting out with Persona games, which is great. And I love the fact that these games don't like gatekeep you or anything. So without spoiling too much, because this game does have a lot of well, interesting story, I do want to say that the main concept of this game is the Midnight Channel. Now this is a TV world of sorts, and there's a bunch of shadow monsters that live in here, and well, you'll see when you play the game for yourself. But Persona in general, what you have to do is you have two different phases of your life. You have the daytime where you're interacting with friends at school and doing other stuff like that. In this game, you're in the town of Inaba, which is a rural town in Japan, which is surprisingly complex for how, well, uneventful it seems at first. But the concept of this game, right, there's these murders that happen and they're connected to the Midnight Channel. So you're forming a team of other people about your age and you're trying to solve the crimes. And that is a really cool idea. Now I also want to say that the battle mechanics have been changed a lot in this game as well and added a lot of new stuff. There's a new mechanic called Send Them Flying, and when there are two or more shadows present, landing a normal attack on a shadow that is afflicted with a status ailment has a chance of sending them flying, and if the knocked back shadow collides with another, it'll spread the damage and status ailment. Of course, baton passing is back from the other Persona games, and this is essentially the ability to target an enemy's weakness, and then you could stack on more attacks with your allies. And then also, a new mechanic is Prime Time, which activates when the gauge is filled during battle. And this is what seems to be some sort of ultimate move, and you could do a series finale, and they looked really cool in the trailer, so I'm excited for that. And of course, Personas. The main character has the ability to have multiple personas, and these have different abilities and moves, and it is really fun to learn how to optimize them. And now for where you can actually play this game, you can get it on Xbox Series X, Game Pass, Microsoft, PlayStation 5, and Steam, digitally and physically, of course. And there's a bunch of different versions. There's the digital standard, which you can get the base game and the pre-order bonus of the Persona 3 R and Persona 5 R background music set. There's also the digital deluxe edition, which you could get all this stuff for. It's a lot to read. It's honestly a lot, but it's really cool. You get a bunch of extra stuff, and then you also have the digital premium edition with that and even more. But finally, there's one last thing I want to talk about, and that's the collector's edition. Has a bunch of stuff which I think is awesome. I will definitely be getting this myself. The steelbook, keycaps and keychain, an amazing statue of the protagonist in Izanagi. You get the box, the art book, all that extra collector stuff that we saw, like the DLC that I just showed you, and of course the base game. I personally love the steelbook maybe the most. Those so cool. But you could get this all in the link in the description, so make sure you go click that. Thank you once again to Sega Atlus for sponsoring this video, and I would love to work with them in the future, so thank you so much. And please, once again, pre-order Persona 4 Revival with the link below. Thank you.